You're listening to Navid Moosa of the Mindset Movement. Good day, good people. My name is Navid Moosa. I'm your host today and always for the Mindset Movement. First-time listeners, thanks for giving us opportunity to earn your trust by listening to us today. We know there's a lot of information out there. You choose to stop here, so we appreciate that. Long-time listeners, thanks for loyalty. We appreciate you, and we love you just as much, if not more. Each and every week, we get into it right away, and we try to do our best to bring you guys a value of the mindset of an entrepreneur, the mindset of someone just to be a better you every single day, whatever that may be. So today's a little bit different. Today's episode, we're going to talk about my experience that I had today, and it was about one-on-ones. So a friend of mine who's an investor as well, he has a team, very successful team, but he knows they were lacking something, I should say. And what that was proper training on compassion, like to deal with some of their clientele, what they deal with, the kind of clientele they deal with. They have a very specific niche. And so what they were kind of lacking was how to be a little more compassionate and not just look at just the numbers. So what I offered to do was he would ask if I was interested. I said, yes, I'll do it. No problem. He's a good dude. We did one-on-one. So I met with 2 of his 5 members today. I'm meeting with the others later on, but I met with 2 of them today. And prior to the meeting, I had them give me a list. I had them give me a list of what they felt were their weaknesses and what they felt were their strengths were. And I had everybody give me this list in general, all of his team members. And when I looked at the list, for the most part, everyone indicated that their weaknesses and their strengths were almost identical to everybody else's. They just used different words. That was it. And what my purpose of meeting with them was not so they could become, not only so they could close more deals, was on a bigger picture for them to be a better person, better version of themselves. And I tell you what, the one-on-ones didn't go the way I anticipated, not at all. And that's not a bad thing. I went in expecting one thing, but left with a totally different thing, a more positive thing, more bigger picture thing. And what I ended up learning was the 2 team members that I met with, they already have the tools. In my opinion, they have the tools to succeed in this business. They have the tools to succeed in what they're doing. What they're lacking, in my opinion, is they are lacking that affirmation. Right now, all of us, for the most part, feel confident in certain settings, but at times we feel vulnerable and weak. And usually those times are when we're solo by ourselves. By ourselves, we kind of feel like, who am I? Where do I belong? What am I meant to do here? We just kind of feel lost. And it's not that, a wandering mind is the devil's playground kind of thing. It's just more of a, okay, I know I'm a good person. I know I'm a good provider. I do the right thing, but there's more. And that's what I got from meeting with these two individuals for the one-on-ones. They're good people. They do the right thing. They know how to speak with respect to people. They don't disrespect individuals. But they needed more. They needed more direction. And it's funny because a lot of us want to work for ourselves. A lot of us want to be independent. But what does that exactly mean? And so when I met with them, that was kind of like the theme. It was like, okay, you're doing all these things, but you're doing all these things, right? So we had to kind of look at their weaknesses. We had to look at their strengths. And like I said, prior to me meeting with these individuals one-on-one, I was given a list by them of what they felt their strengths and weaknesses were. And so I looked at them, and for the most part, they all had this identical or similar strengths and similar weaknesses. They just use different words to describe them. But at the end of the day, the common weakness was time management. And the common strength was compassion, right? So we had to figure out together, how do you take a weakness of time management and how do you take your strength of compassion and offset each other? And so the exercise I did with them was called, it was basically putting, I said this before, putting people in buckets where you take people and you put them in their bucket of love, if you will. But the other one is called a brain dump. And what a brain dump is, you take all your thoughts you have in your head, you just put them on paper. In no particular order, you just take all your thoughts out, you put them on paper, and you write them out. And then once you do that, the idea behind that is that you get all the clutter that's in your mind. Because how many times do we say, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I ask this question? Did I call this person? Whatever it may be. If you put it out of your head and put it onto paper, it's a little bit of like comforting level to know, okay, here's what I have. Everything's in my head is on paper now. It's right here. It's in front of me. Let me now evaluate what truly is important and what's not. And so, like I said, what we did was we had them do a brain dump. They put everything out on paper in no particular order. But once it was on paper, then I had them put it in order of importance to them, not as a business person, not as a individual, but as a whole. Both take your business personality, your personal personality, combine them, and where's your responsibilities lie, right? And here's why I had them do that. I had them do it because a lot of the times when you are an entrepreneur or self-business or a small business owner, however you want to phrase it, both of your lives, your business and personal lives run into each other. And so finding that balancing act to separate them can get very, very hard. Not impossible, just hard. But sometimes we don't need to separate them. Sometimes some of us can find a nice balanced harmony of integrating one into the other without alienating ourselves as a business person or as a private individual. And so we went through the exercise, and now we're not finished with it. They're going to go through and still take care of their stuff. They're going to go through the brain dump and take all this stuff out, and then we're going to meet a week later. But the reason why I want to talk to you guys about it was this is something I've done it with my students, with the one-on-one. For those who don't know, if you go to navidmoosa.com, you can sign up for my courses. I do one-on-one coaching, and I've never done it with a whole team, with a real estate team. I've done it with my team, but not a third-party team, right? So it was exciting for me to do it. And I guess this is hopefully the first of many episodes I can get to talk about it. But today's was exciting because it was the first time I did it with someone outside of my sphere. And I did it, or we did it together, trying to find out what foundation they can build off of. Right. So we're gonna meet hopefully next week. Hopefully I didn't scare them away. But I did put some challenges in front of them. I put some challenges in front of them to really look at themselves, look at the circle, look at some of the things that they have to face on a daily basis, and ask some tough questions to themselves, ask some tough questions to their significant other, ask some tough questions to their family, and be prepared to hear answers that you don't want to hear. It's just part of the reality. Sometimes those tough questions can truly help build a bond stronger than what we realize. And sometimes we don't give enough credit to the people in our circle that they're that tough. They're a lot stronger than we give them credit for, because as an entrepreneur, as a leader, we're always kind of protecting people, to make sure everybody's safe and everyone is good. But sometimes they need to get knocked down every so often, just so they know what they're made of, and you get to know what they're made of too. So tune in, hopefully, for another episode, and I can kind of follow up to see where it comes from. But I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see where this team leads to. It's a young group of people who are doing really big things, good things, and I'm honored to be a part of it, to be honest. But if you're listening to this, and if it's something you want to do, it's called the brain dump exercise, and you're merely just taking all your thoughts and just putting them on paper. There's no right or wrong. Put them on paper, and then prioritize them in order of importance, not of, well, here's what I do for work, here's what I do for home, just order of importance, period. Once you do that, then you'll say, well, this is really for work and this is for home. And then you kind of go from there. I know you can probably say, well, I'll do the list from the beginning. Don't. Just do it the way I'm telling you. And I promise you, it just makes it a lot easier. Takes the stress away from the process in general. So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. So That's what I have for you guys this week. Hope you appreciate it, and hope you tune in for another episode. As far as like a follow up to this one, and we'll kind of go from there. So each and every week, I end the episode the same way, and that's saying, do right by the client. That's it. Do right by the client. Everything else will fall into place. I promise you. And sometimes the client is you. Sometimes you're your own client. So do right by yourself, and everything else will fall into place. First time listeners, I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please subscribe, share us, like us. And if you didn't like us, I apologize. Come back next week and give me another shot. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Be safe out there. Be good to yourselves. Be careful. And I will talk to you all next week. See ya.